Well, look what's back in the workshop, guys. How you doing, everybody? Jay from Just Technics with another video for you. This one's on the Mixars LTAs, like I did before. They're back in the workshop. They're going up for sale. I thought I'd do a quick follow-up video before they go anywhere, just to explain what the ownership's been like. Obviously, when I bought these in January, so I had them for a few months, nearly 3 months, or over 3 months now. I thought I'd do a video just to explain. Oh, bloody alarm's going off, sorry guys. Thought I'd do a video just to explain what they've been like, why I'm selling them. You know, thought it'd be quite nice to tell you. So, Mixar LTAs, they're nice turntables. They were originally from DB247 when I bought them, and as you can see, condition on them is very, very nice, apart from a couple of things that I'm going to get through in a minute. What they're like for mixing, everybody's asking me. Again, I class these now, after having these for the last few months at home, testing these out with my Tractor S4 Mark III, pretty much the same as any other Super OEM turntable, if I'm completely honest. Everyone was going on about how good these turntables are for mixing. They are a little bit better, I will admit. They do seem to hold a little bit tighter, and they do seem to keep beats locked for a little bit longer. So I will agree with you there, but that's about it. That really is about it. I mean, I find that having to have the pitch control on +16 is the more ease of use option when actually mixing anything between plus and -8, which sounds ridiculous. But the biggest bugbear that I have with these turntables is, say for an example, you set your pitch at a position, and you've queued your record up, you've ridden the pitch, you've twisted the platter, or spindle even, you've touched the platter to slow it down, you've got it locked where you want it, and you know that is where your pitch is going to stay, and that's where the track locks up. So what do? You pull your cart off, put it on its rest, or you re-cue it back to its first point, and then you let the record go when it's time to mix the record in at the time that you designate, yeah? Well, what happens on any other turntable I've ever used is, the minute you let that record go and you either pinch the spindle or touch the platter just to bend it back in time, your pitch should always stay in the same position once you set it. So if you know your pitch is at +2 and just slightly over, and that's where your tracks are going to lock, then really that's it. You should leave that there and then just pitch bend it and maybe move minuscule amounts just to keep things locked once they're drifting out of time, but that's perfectly normal. What I found with this, say for example, I had the pitch at 0, I've done what I've done there, I've cued it, I've moved it through, I've done the spindle, and my pitch ends up here, yeah? Once you pull the needle off the record and you re-cue it again and let it go, what I find is, even no matter what you do with the spindle or the platter, you end up either moving your pitch further back to lock it in or further forward. So where I'm getting at, the pitch doesn't stay in the same position to lock your records on both of these turntables. Now, I'm very interested to hear other Mixar LTA owners that have also got this issue. I suppose it's an issue, also been designed in this way, because if it was just one turntable that did this, I'd be saying maybe there's an issue and a fault, and I'll send it back and get them obviously repaired, or probably just get a refund for them, because obviously they're not non-going anymore. But no, that's not the case. So unfortunately, it looks like that's the way they've been designed. So both of the turntables do exactly the same thing. I find that they're easier to cope with mixing wise on +16 on both decks. They do seem to lock a lot easier on +16. 50 is impossible. 8 is good, but you find you're constantly having to keep notching the pitch and the spindle. But yeah, that's the biggest bugbear, because it's one of the reasons why I bought these particular turntables for the review, is so many people were asking me about them and just saying about, look, the pitch is meant to be fantastic on them. And they are good. They are good, I will admit. But they are not Technics good. You're never going to get that. You need to bear in mind as well that these are sub £500 decks when I bought them. You're not going to find these anywhere now, retailer-wise. Anyone that's got these are going to be probably £310, £320 each. So they've gone up in price since I last did my video. Plus it was DB247, and their bits are slightly cheaper because you've got to wait just that bit longer to receive your goods. So yeah, the pitch control, apart from that bugbear there, which is a little bit annoying, I did find that a lot tighter to mix on than, say, the likes of the Reloops or the Stantons, any other Super OEM deck, which is very strange considering that these are actually Super OEM turntables and inherent very similar parts to other turntables that are currently on the market. But they're cheap, that's what they are. So that's the pitch control problem with that. The other bugbear that I have with these, which is so annoying, which at first I really liked, was actually the rubberized tops on these. I still like them. I still think they look good. I think they look really stealthy, and I can't not agree with that. I think it looks really good, but the dust on them, my God, do they attract dust? They really, really do. Now, I've tried anti-static spray on these like I explained, and I've got to give it to the guys that were saying to me, no matter what you do, they're going to get dusty. I thought, nah, you know, I can do better than that. I'm sure I can do something. I've tried anti-static spray. It did work briefly. For the first month, these didn't really get any dust at all. But it just, after an initial month or so of having anti-static spray on, no matter if you keep topping it up or not, it just gets dusty. I was sitting here with paint brushes, getting dust off, anti-static brushes, that works. So just make sure if you do buy a pair of these that you have a brush or something that's good for anti-static so you can get rid of any dust. Then you'll be golden. But the big problem that I have, are you ready for this? Is in the corner of the deck. Look at that. Now this, I only noticed when I brought these down. Basically, my other half, bless her, she helped me bring these down my unit this morning. Because as everybody knows, I ride motorbikes. I haven't got a car. I've got a motorbike licence. That's my fault. But whenever I bring anything to and from, obviously to and from where we live, to do the reviews and bring back to my workshop, they go in her car. Now, we noticed this. Well, I noticed this about half an hour ago. And that, guys, is actually underneath the rubber. So it's a bit disappointing that, because apart from that, these decks are in mint condition. Now, they are up for sale. Okay, so for anybody that is in the UK that fancies a pair of these, they're going to be a little bit cheaper than what I paid for them. Obviously, nothing too over the top, because they are practically brand new. Had them for 3 months. Yes, there's a mark in the corner. Yes, they've been taken out of the box. But look, I'm not eBay. This is my price and what I'm going to tell you. So if anybody is interested in buying a pair of Mixars LTAs, or these particular pair of Mixars LTAs even, please do send me over a message on Facebook. You can speak to me via WhatsApp. The WhatsApp link is on my Facebook page. This is for UK only customers. They come with all of the accessories, the original slip mats, the original 45 adapters, the the target lamps, they're included as well. Everything's working exactly as they should do. They come including the original packaging and the DB247 outer box if I decide to send them both together. So there really is no issues with these whatsoever, apart from that, which is so annoying. But they're going to be a cheap pair of Mixars for somebody. I'm sure whoever's going to get these is going to be happy. And if you're a turntablist, you're going to be extremely happy. These tone arms on these decks, I mean, these have been inherited from the old Stantons, some of the old Reloop RP 7000, the originals had these. A lot of old Super OEM decks have this arm assembly. I couldn't get anything to skip on this. There's no anti-skate to set, because anti-skate is obviously disabled on this particular turntable because of this obviously being a straight arm. I had Autofon Concords on these, the Mark IIs. Not ideal really. You should have head shell mounted carts if you're going to be mixing on them, but for scratching they held like well, they just held. They did not jump, did not skip. That's exactly what you want. Turntablists are going to love the torque on this. You can adjust the start, the brake. You got up to 50% pitch. It's instant stop, instant start, and they're fantastic. You've got 2 individual outputs on the back as well. So you've got two RCA outputs on the back, where both of them can be either line output if you use the switch at the back, or you can have phono and line. So the idea is you can use these with 2 different mixers. So for battle DJs, they're pretty ideal, and they've thought them through quite well. But from what our understanding is now, there's not much really been going on the front of Mixars now. I think they may very well have discontinued these turntables. I know that for a fact, but whether the brand is still going, I honestly don't know. I'm not going to be looking into them anymore now I've done this review. The STA version is exactly the same as this turntable, apart from having a straight, obviously an S-bend arm and not a straight arm. So there's no point me doing a review on the other ones. The build quality is going to be no different. The sound quality is going to be no different. And the performance will be no different, apart from maybe audio-wise, because of the S-bend arm. If you're using a Concord and an S-bend, instead of it hitting directly in the groove, it's going to go around with it. So talking about sound quality, you do get slight hums on these because of the way the power supplies are, and the fact that you've got the line and the phonos. They're cheap, okay? They are cheap, guys. You do get a very low-level hum if you've got the volume at full, which I'm presuming nobody really is going to do. But again, you got to think, for what was paid for these decks, they were a bargain. I still think they are a bargain. And would I pay that again for them if I didn't want Technics? 100% yes. But if you are a mixing DJ and you like ultra tight mixes, I really would consider just going for Technics, because they are not the best. They are not the best. They are the best out of the Super OEMs that I've used. That I will admit. They do lock and you can hold them, but it's once you need to start making adjustments on that pitch is where it's still going to start throwing you off a bit. So just be very wary. These are the best for wear and flutter out of the lot of them. I will admit that as well. So in terms of precision and the way that these go around and the action of the pitch, they are very, very good. They are the best out of the lot of them, but I just don't get on with them. I really don't. I think it's just the fact that they're digitally controlled. And unfortunately, it's the same with just about any digitally controlled pitch out there. You're never going to win. But we're not in the 70s, 80s, 90s, or even early 2000s anymore, guys. I mean, we're now moving forward. This is the sign of things to come. Everything's going to be digitally controlled. It's because obviously money is obviously a big purpose in this. People don't want to spend the money to engineer something that's going to be a pure analog system anymore. It's going to be easier to replace a digitally controlled unit because it's probably just a plug out unit, whereas an analog you got to desolder or whatever you're going to do. It's all rubbish. I mean, at the end of the day, it's all to do with money. And until someone sits there and goes, I'm going to redesign a turntable from scratch in the same way as an old Technics unit did, then we're all stuck with digitally controlled sliders. Unless you're going to use CDJs really for mixing, you're going to be riding that pitch control. Your hand is going to be glued and there is nothing you can do about it. Other than buy the Mark 7s, I hate saying it, other than buying the Technics Mark 7s, because they are very nice with the pitch on them. But again, you've still got to ride the pitch. But this pair here, the Denon VL12, which they obviously have their own bugbears and problems as well. They're not perfect, but these decks, the Denon VL12s and the Mark 7s, are the three of the best turntables I've used with digitally controlled slider units. That is as simple as that. So you either spend not a lot of money on these, a lot of money on the Denons, which are also discontinued now. So these are discontinued. The Denons are discontinued. And again, you're back on the Mark 7s. This is where things get so complicated and so annoying, because everything you see in these reviews now, no one bothers with. And because no one bothers with them, they don't make them anymore. So get these while you can, guys. They're going to be a bit cheaper, like I say. And if you are genuinely interested, find my Just Technics page on Facebook. I've also got a website as well. Like I say, it's justtechnics.co.uk. You can find me on Google. If you find me through Facebook, the link will be there for WhatsApp. If you fancy messaging me on WhatsApp, you're more than welcome to. But UK buyers only for these, please, guys. Nobody outside of the UK. Nothing against anyone that's outside the UK. It's just it's so expensive to send them. And I don't want the hassle. I'd rather just have these here for a little while and send them to somebody that's inside the UK. Any questions on these, you're more than welcome to comment below. If you're interested in buying them, then please do message me as well. But yeah, these are the Mixars LTAs. I've had them for 3 months. And apart from 3 issues on these, which, like I say, 1 being the paint finish, 2 being the pitch, and 3 being the hum from the power supplies. It's a shame, but you know what? There's no point in finding these faults and moaning about them. They're a cheap pair of turntables. What do you expect? But I've reviewed them. People were asking me. That's the review on them, guys. And still give them a 10 out of 10 for what they are for the price I paid. So any questions, everybody? Fire us over a message. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next video. Cheers, guys.